that would end the city of Rochester's red light camera program. Since it was launched in 2012, this program has been proven to be wildly unpopular, and I've reached the conclusion that the benefits simply don't justify a further extension. I'm very concerned that too many of these tickets have been issued to people who can least afford them, which is counterproductive to our efforts to reverse our city's troubling rates of poverty. Meanwhile, the zip codes that have the city's highest rates of poverty, I cannot in good conscience wage a fight against poverty while also imposing burdensome fines that have a disproportionate impact on people living in poverty. It just doesn't make sense. We commissioned a study on the program, and the results were inconclusive at best. Some of the intersections with cameras did see a decrease in red light violations. Others saw an increase, and some stayed the same. Meanwhile, the zip codes that have the city's highest poverty rates, like 14605, 14609, and 14621, generated the highest total number of red light camera tickets. All programs have a beginning and an end. It's time to bring this one to an end. But let me be perfectly clear. Running a red light is very dangerous and puts our citizens and visitors at risk. Running a red light is still against the law. It was against the law when we started the program. It's going to be against the law after we end this program. I cannot tell our community enough about being safe and making sure that when they're behind the wheel that they do everything to not only keep our pedestrians and children safe, but also themselves and other drivers. The Rochester Police Department will continue to enforce red light violations for running red lights. We are simply eliminating one of the tools we use to enforce this law. So what does this mean? This contract was to end on December 31st. We have decided as a city that it will end permanently on December 31st. There are still red light cameras active in the city of Rochester until December 31st at 12 midnight. The reason why this contract, we decided to end it at the end of our contract so that we would not be imposed fees and our citizens would not have to be imposed fees for terminating the contract early. So thank you all for coming, and we'll take any questions that you may have on topic. Any questions? Everybody understand what we're doing here? The company. The company will take it down. The cameras will go dark at midnight on December 31st when the program was slated to end. Correct. If you currently have a ticket, a red light camera ticket, if you get a red light camera ticket between now and December 31st, you will still be responsible for paying that ticket. We are just not extending the contract to after December 31st.
When that study came out, I believe it was exactly last year, the city did say that it showed some improvements. Now you're saying they were inconclusive.
No, specifically, let's be clear. The study said that some of the intersections improved, some of them stayed the same, and some of them got worse. That is what the study said, and that is the reason why we did another report and did another evaluation to make sure that as we decided on whether to continue this program or to discontinue it, that we evaluated everything. And it's inconclusive as to, if it improved, if it didn't improve, and we know that the people that are most impacted by this are people that are currently in poverty and have the least disposable income and to afford to pay these tickets. Is our budget director here? We would have to get you that number. When we talk about it being cost neutral, it didn't cost the city anything to do this program. Actually, we were given dollars based on after the you factor in the cost of the red flex to do the program, we received dollars from it. So it was cost neutral for the city. We didn't pay anything. Right now, we would be giving up something, and that would be the fees that we get from the red light camera program. We would have to get that number out. I need to talk to our budget director. I'm not sure, unless somebody here knows. Do you know? You know? What is it?
We were getting in the range of $800,000 to $1 million a year from the program, and that weighed into some of our decision, but ultimately it's about the citizens and what their needs are and how we could go about addressing that most appropriately.
It's part of a budget decision. We will go through our 20, we're in the process starting in January of going through our new budget, and we account for the loss in revenue in that, and we'll decide that way. The importance here is that the citizens of our city that are most impacted by poverty. We talk about being the third city, having the third highest poverty rate, the first for children. And we have a legislation and have a program that directly impact those citizens and other citizens around our community. We want people to love coming into the city. We want people to feel appreciated when they come into the city. A number of these tickets were, violations. When we look at them and we see that sometimes it improved, sometimes it didn't, and sometimes it stayed the same, then it does the ends justify the means. And here, when we look at it as a holistic approach, the cost of doing the program, the people that it affects, and rather it actually changes the behavior, we think the better way to do that is to utilize our police department. We have more officers that will be coming on the streets. When the next class graduates, enforcing the traffic laws of the state of New York, again, is the best way that we can deal with this program. Nothing else? Thank you.